the official and some players from West Chicago that time. Looks like West Chicago is going to pick up the unsportsmanlike counter page for some comments that must have gone back and forth between them and the officials.
It is huge. You know, you have that trick play. You absolutely fooled me. Absolutely fooled you.
100%. I was looking back. The punter was going like this, and I was like, what is he doing? Oh, the ball's up this way.
Yeah, if you told me the 253-pounder would have just kind of snuck right behind the guy, end up taking the ball and just taking it for a first down, I would have been like, no way. And then they end up getting that 1st and 10, and now just a silly play like that, it's 2nd and 24 with 5:40 on the clock. They're just going to give this one right up the middle, and Community is all over that. They went right up at the middle at the start of the game. They were doing that a lot with Robert Lee, their running back 1, really giving it to him right at the middle. He's tall, he's got some size on him, he's able to go through, but Community has seen that and they've adjusted. You know, you can only see so much on film before a game to really expect what's going to happen, and once it actually starts happening, then you start adjusting. That's the most important part, and they were able to see that up the middle was working really well for them, and they've stopped that, forcing a 3rd and 21.
Yeah, football is kind of like a game of chess between the two coordinators and the head coaches, right? We're going to play this piece, we'll see how you react. You're going to play this piece, we'll see how they react. And now the Wildcats have gone to more of up the middle, now the Ironmen got to react.
And here we go, great pressure from Community, but they're able to get a quick pass off, and the Wildcats are at the 40. They're going to get a 1st down. Oh my goodness, what a play from the Wildcats there. It looked like Naranjo was going to drop back for a big pass, but instead he decides to give a little screen pass to Tommy Doyle, who broke a couple tackles, really showed off his speed, and a gain of 30 on the play.
Yeah, nice job by West Chicago that time. Drew a couple inside linebackers up with that fake run, able to pop it over the top for a nice screen pass to Tommy Doyle, one of the Tommies, Tommy Doyle this time for a nice 1st down and a big 1st down for West Chicago.
Yeah, West Chicago does not want to get shut out in the 1st round of the IHSA playoffs, and they are really battling for it here. They decide to go right up the middle, but like I said earlier, Community has their number right up the middle. This time they went right up the middle with Robert Lee.
Looks like the Ironmen got it on a fumble.
Wow, I did not even quite see that one. I did see Robert Lee kind of come out of the pile without the ball, looking a little bit confused. Community has done a great job all season forcing turnovers, and I believe that's the 3rd forced turnover of the game.
I believe so, yeah, Zach. You're not the only one who missed that. And the only reason I knew the ball might have bounced, I saw that back judge throw that little blue marker in there that says the ball hits the ground. And that time I saw it fly in, and Wynn Carlock popped out of the huddle, holding that thing up like a trophy, and the Ironmen got it going back the other way.
This has been an excellent showcase for the Ironmen tonight. You've had a special teams touchdown. You've had multiple turnovers forced by your defense, and you've had a great passing game as well as a running game. You've had a passing touchdown, a running touchdown. They're doing it all, and right now they decide to go right up the middle, and it looks like that will be a loss of a couple yards on the play, as the Wildcats were all over that one. As you try to pull a bit of a trick play, maybe some jukes on the Wildcats, that's kind of their gameplay, so they were able to stop that one.
Yeah, I think going back to what we said with the defense and the offense performance tonight, I think it's really a testament to our coaching staff here at Community, how we can adjust on the fly, make adjustments, put in stuff. I mean, the defense hadn't seen triple option offense all year, and they've really done a nice job containing the Wildcats here tonight.
They sure have done a nice job, and now we have Kalen Taylor on the run. He's got the 40, he's got a 1st down, he's at the 50, he's still running, he's broke a couple tackles, and he's going to be out of bounds. He has now entered the other side of the field. He is in Wildcats territory, past the 50-yard line. What a burst there from Kalen Taylor.
When you guys talk about adjusting on the fly, I hate to break it to you, but there were a couple minutes where we were dead air there for a little bit.
Oh, no.
We are adjusting on the fly here as well. We're running into some sort of ghost, perhaps, Halloween in the booth here, and struggling with some technical problems here. So we're trying to give you the best product that we possibly can.
And Taylor is broken free. He's breaking through a couple tackles. He's at the 25.
And Taylor's there trying to give the best product that he can as well. So bear with us as we try to give you the rest of this game here.
Oh, yeah, and you still have our beautiful voices to listen to.
That's
Am I
right.
right, Tyler?
That's right.
Woo! All right, it's 34-0 here. If you missed the last couple minutes of action, there is just about 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. We haven't had a running clock, but it sure has felt like it. It's a 1st and 10 for the Ironmen. They have 26 yards to the end zone. and we have 3 receivers lined up here. We got Marquand Gary, Reed Hoover, Michael Mavick, 3 guys that have been a big deal this season. Kyle Beatty is going to give it off to his running back, and Cole Kretzinger has a big gain on the play there, just going straight up the middle.
The nice part for us as spectators and the fans here in the crowd is this is going to be a run-heavy second half, right? And then when you run the ball, you stop when you run, keep running. Clock keeps running, so that is a very nice part for us second half. Go back to Kalen Taylor's past 2 runs. The one back here, the guy sitting in Wildcat territory, nice job. Something arm tackling backfield, had a burst of speed over the 50 for a first down. And that last run, just a powerful run up the middle. Nice job by Cole Kretzinger, also picking up a first down that time.
Yeah, actually, it is 2nd and 2. So it'll be interesting to see if the Ironmen go with Kretzinger again, and they do. Kretzinger's got it right up the middle, and he's got the 3-yard line. He made it to the 3-yard line before a shoestring tackle was made by the Wildcats there, and Community is entering the Wildcats territory once again, getting really close to making this a running clock.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if the Ironmen stick with Kretzinger here and bring Taylor in. Looks like they're going to stick with Cole here on the goal line play.
Yeah, Cole has been phenomenal this season, kind of like last year. We didn't see a lot from Kalen Taylor, only 5 touchdowns. But Kyle Beatty's going to drop back to pass on this one. He's got a man. That is Michael Mavick on the touchdown there, and what a find from Kyle Beatty. Michael Beatty was able to turn that corner on that quick little screen pass and get the touchdown to make this a running clock. It's 40-0. The clock will only stop at touchdowns as it is right now at 1:40, and also timeouts as well.
Like we talked about earlier in the game with Kyle's ability to flip his feet, plant his feet, and throw like a shortstop. That time we saw it again. This time, not to second base, but to Michael Mavick for a touchdown for the Iron.
And Michael Mavick with a great play there. And we have Will Castro, and the kick is up, and it is good. 41-0. Saying Castro's kick is up and good is something we've been able to do all of this season. The first kick of the game, it seemed to be maybe not the best snap, but since then it has been 5 straight kicks that have gone in from Castro.
Yeah, the Ironmen really have a privilege of having such a good kicker. You know, you can really tack on that extra point. That's that one more point to the 6 points every time they go down and score. It's really an advantage. There's not a lot of teams in the state of Illinois that can say, I have confidence in my guy to kick that ball through the uprights every time. You know, the Ironmen really have not been tested to a point where they need to use a field goal unit this year, but the extra point unit has certainly been very efficient.
Yeah, and let's take this moment just to take a quick look at kind of the 7A, maybe some of the Big 12 schools, and some scores kind of around town. Tri-Valley, the game is in the 4th quarter. Last score update was 28-14. U-High is up 21-14 in their first round matchup. They are entering the 4th quarter as well. And then a Big 12 matchup that's going on right now, Peoria and Hillcrest. Peoria is down 2 midway through the 3rd quarter. And we got the kick there. It is going to bounce right into the end zone there. And then looking at a few plays down at the 7A bracket as well. Mount Carmel was able to win 56-14. They are someone that could be a possible matchup in the 3rd round if Community can make it that far. And obviously earlier we talked about Prospects, 35-7 lead as well.
Another score update. We have a final from Alton if we're talking about Ironman soccer. The Ironmen fell 2-0 to Edwardsville, ending their season 16-6-6. But to play tonight, they had to put on one stellar performance. They won their game against the Moline Maroons.
We do have a pass here, and that is a beautiful dime from Naranjo there. You start to wonder why they don't pass so much. He has got a great arm, and he is able to find number 5 on the play, Tommy Murphy. Back to you, Mr. Bovenkirk.
They won their game against the Moline Maroons October 29th, 5-4 penalty kick. So that was a 2-1 victory. But last year in the same round, oh man, it was a nail biter, right? They went to the 7 seconds away from going to penalty kicks before Moline found the back of the net. 7 seconds to go in the second overtime period. And so going to overtime this week felt like, are we repeating history a little bit? It was a little tense, but the Ironmen came out on the right side of that one, but did fall 2-0 in Edwardsville.
Man, hats off to the Iron soccer players for a phenomenal year. You know, they were battle tested all year, played some great teams, fought off. Shout out to my guy, Bodie Thompson, on a great save up there in Moline on Tuesday night, and they just fell short tonight to a very talented Edwardsville soccer team. A great season for the men of the Iron soccer team.
You know, if you look at all the great sports the community has, obviously last year was a phenomenal performance and many sports from the Ironmen. But Mr. Bovenkirk, how is the volleyball team looking this year? You know, we have a couple previews out on the Ink Spot about them, lots of recaps, great coverage. Can you talk a little bit about the volleyball team?
So volleyball clinched a regional championship. They took down the Manuka Indians, a team that they lost to in the same round last year, in 2 sets last evening. And that means they're going to be traveling super far, Normal West.
Oh, we have a sack here from Kellen Ogston. As community, it does look like we have a running clock. It's 41-0 with 50 seconds. Now back to volleyball.
They're going to take on Normal West at West on Tuesday at 6 p.m. West is a powerhouse. Those West Wildcats volleyball team, led by Ellie Rink, they are something else. They're 34-3 this season. Ooh. One of those losses came to Lyle Bennett Academy. Last time I checked, Lyle Bennett Academy was ranked 5th in the nation. Right? That's a team that, that's a good loss. Another one of those losses, though, came to Normal Community. So right. Community has beat West once this year in Intercity. They're 1-0. They're 1-1. They've split the series so far. Both of those games were at Community, but this is going into, I guess, like the Wildcat Den. I don't know what they call it over there. But that is going to be one heck of a game. So Tuesday night, mark your calendars, 6 p.m. I would be there. I will be there. I'm taking my daughter to swim lessons. But that's what you don't want to miss if you don't have a 4-year-old who's trying to learn how to swim.
Usually, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, soccer, whatever it is, when the crosstown rivals square it up on any quarter field, throw the records out the window, throw the statistics out the window. It's going to be a great volleyball match on Tuesday night. And Normal Community needs all the support it can get from our student body and faculty.
Well, there are a couple sports where, and volleyball definitely is one of them, where you have grown up playing with your opponent, right? You've played club together, you've played junior high together, and so there's just something heightened in there a little bit. Tomorrow at Maxwell Park, so the other side of town, we're going to see the boys and girls cross-country teams trying to make their way to state. And on my way over here tonight, I saw the Lincoln Way East bus. I saw the Pekin bus, and they were kind of walking that course. And the nice thing is at Maxwell Park is that's our home course. And so I'm really hoping to see a good show out from Joey Yaros and AJ Ince and the boys and Lily Kavanaugh and the girls, and hopefully we can extend our postseasons beyond just maybe this game in volleyball.
Yeah, so there is much more going on in community than just football. But as for the football field, we have the Wildcats breaking away here. That's number 1, no other than Tommy Doyle. And Tommy Doyle is able to get the first down there on that 3rd and 10. Big gain from Tommy Doyle there. We talked about all these successful sports from the Ironmen, and the basketball seasons are just around the corner. Some of those tryouts and open gyms, they're starting up for girls basketball and boys basketball, depending on how far the Ironmen can get into the postseason. Last season, Dexter Niekamp actually missed some of the start of the Ironman basketball season. That's how close these schedules are, and you do have players like Gabe Nege that are on this football team. That's when those questions start to come up. And we've got a breakaway yet again for Tommy Doyle. He's broken a couple tackles, and he breaks a few more, and he may have gotten a touchdown there, and that is going to be a touchdown. Wildcats, they are able to get on the board with an absolutely stellar run from Tommy Doyle there. He broke about 5 tackles, had a man pulling at his shoelaces to end the last 10 yards. He was able to take it home, and it is 41-6 now community. The Wildcats are on the board. Tommy Doyle can do a little bit of everything.
You know, I really think that shows the heart that Tommy Doyle has, right? You know, anybody could give up. You're down 41-0. You know, who cares? Game's pretty much over. Not Tommy Doyle. He had the heart and soul. As soon as he saw that end zone ahead of him, he was trucking along, dragging iron defenders with him, able to score it in for 6.
And now they got 8 on a 2-point conversion. That was no other than Robert Lee. So, you know, like you say, now it's 41-8, 11 minutes left. Most likely Community's going to be able to pull this one out. But just talk about the heart of the Wildcats, still putting up a score. You know, your season's coming to a close, and you're able to get on the board there, and just excellent resilience from the Wildcats there. That's just really a showcase of who they are as a team.
We've got a final score from Prospect, 56-14 Prospect. So it looks like the Knights will be heading south to Normal Community next week. We don't know when that game will be played. The teams are going to have to come together and kind of figure out, are we going to play Friday night? Are we going to play Saturday between 1 and 7? And so we'll let you know what next week looks like on the Ink Spot a little bit later this week. But we do have a final, and we're starting to see some scores from the 7A bracket coming in here.
I know Coach Dranglitz has always been a player of, I want to play on Friday nights. I think that is a great thing, and I'm sure he's going to try to bargain with the coaches from Prospect that, well, as soon as this game's over, but he's going to try to bargain that I want to play on Friday night, and that is when high school football should be played. And I believe the Wildcats have recovered an onside kick.
You know, we might have been counting our chickens here. The Wildcats are making a bit of a run here in the second half. The Wildcats did just get that ball. They only have 50 yards to the end zone. There's 11 minutes in the game. It's 41-8 Ironmen, and we do start looking towards the winner of this game. Will be playing Prospect. Just a quick little look at Prospect. They're 7-2 on the season. Their 2 losses came in the first 2 weeks in non-conference play. They lost to the LaGrange Lions, who are undefeated in 8th in Illinois, so a very great team there. Lost 38-21, so put up a fight. And then they also lost to Palatine with a final score of 14-9. They're also top 20 in Illinois, 8-1. And then after that, they have won out. They're 7-2, 5-0 in conference. We have a great gain there from the Wildcats. That'll be a first down.
That was a laser. That was a great pass there.
Yes, so they are 5-0 in their conference. The Mid-Suburban East, which features teams like Hersey and Elk Grove, so a very good conference. And then they have that conference performance against Hersey, a team that you thought was going to win. They won by 42. Prospect was able to beat them, so that's going to be a very strong opponent in the winner of this game.
Yeah, we talk about battle-tested football teams. Boy, are the Prospect Knights battle-tested. They play in one of the toughest conferences outside of suburban Chicago.
And it looks like we might have another score. Number 34, Robert Lee just went right through the middle. He broke through, and now the Wildcats are starting to make the Ironmen worry. It's 41-14 here. The Wildcats have put back-to-back scores within the last minute. That one was right up the gut of the Ironmen. And wow, what a run there from Robert Lee. He's a big guy, and he was able to just use his size to get into the end zone.
If I'm looking at the Ironman coach's body language here, I'm not seeing a ton of concern, right? One of the things about Drangwitz that I love about Drangwitz is that he wears his emotions pretty openly, and so I think that we're at a place where there's 9:33 to go, and that's a lot of scoring really quickly, but it's a big hill to sled up here for this team to come back.
And I think a testament to Coach Drangwitz is he's always calm, cool, composure, right? There's never too big a moment for him. But I think instead of more of concerned, he's more frustrated with his team, right? No matter what the score is, you always got to play your hardest, hit hard, hit everything that moves, right? And that's what they're kind of giving up right now. They're kind of laying down. And I can tell you, West Chicago is not going to lay down for them. They got to play 9 minutes and 30 seconds more of hard football to put the Wildcats away tonight.
And if I've learned anything from Drangwitz, it's really after every game, whether it's a shutout, whether it's they've given up just a touchdown, they gave up 2 touchdowns. He has so many positive things to say, but there is always room for improvement, always something that he brings up, whether, oh, the secondary could use some improvement here. And then the next week he comes back and he's like, yeah, they really improved. We could also improve with penalties, or maybe there were a couple balls overthrown. So he's always looking at what can we do to improve. And these are the moments that Coach Drangwitz really looks at the Ironmen to improve, and these are the moments that the Ironmen usually thrive, and they're able to shut teams out, and they play till the buzzer sounds. That's something they need to do in the playoffs, because the game's not over till the buzzer sounds. But like we said, Drangwitz seems cool and collected. He takes a timeout here to talk with his players. It looks like the Wildcats might go for an onside kick here.
Kyle Beatty's been on the sidelines, and for the last couple of minutes, he's been taking some reps and working on his passes, keeping those hands warm. So when we talk about like playing till the final whistle, Beatty's in this game. His head's in the game. He is making sure that he's fresh and ready to go. And after that onside kick, it's been a couple minutes since he's been out there, and so that's really impressive to see. And I think that speaks, Tyler, to what you were saying about, like, it's not over till it's over, and you want to play every down, every snap to your fullest. And so it is a little disheartening when you see that kind of burst in scoring right when you've shut the team out for so long.
And I can tell you one thing about Kyle is he's a competitor. He will play, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, he will play from the final buzzer or first pitch or kickoff to the final buzzer, last strikeout, or whatever you want to have it. He will compete in any sporting event.
And here comes the onside kick. It's bobbled by the Ironmen, and the ball is still moving. I did just see it move, and there's a big pile right at that 50-yard line. We're going to see what it is called as here. We have a lot of white jerseys pointing their way, and that will be West Chicago's ball. They did just recover that onside kick. It bobbled around, went from a few players. West Chicago gets the ball back once again. They scored, and then there was a turnover by the Ironmen, and they scored once again, getting that 2-point conversion each time. It's 41-16, and they have the ball back once again. Coming into this fourth quarter, it was 41-0.
You know, it's interesting. Last week, the Ironmen schemed up onside kicks first period, right? Because that's what they do. This week, no onside kicks from the games and the game plan, and now it's coming back to kick them because now West Chicago's executed 2 very good onside kicks.
This is the weather that benefits the kicking team when it comes to onside. When it's hitting you in the hands, it's hitting you hard, and you're not really ready for it. It's
hands are cold, body doesn't want to get hit. You just don't want the football to come to you.
And here we go. We have number 34, Robert Lee, right up the middle again. That might be the most consistent play I've seen from them all night. Almost every single drive, we've seen that at least once.
Yeah, those big hosses up front have really done a nice job of getting themselves clearance space for Lee to come right up the middle and pick up good chunks of yards every single time he touches the ball.
Yeah, it seems like almost every time he goes up the middle, he's getting at least 3 yards, and a lot of times over 5. And we've seen a few breakaways. We saw that about 30-yard touchdown, which was just a simple run right up the middle. Great blocking, and he's a big guy. And once again, we got Lee up the middle. That's going to be a first down for the Wildcats.
You know, I think unfortunately for West Chicago here is time is not in their favor, right? The clock is constantly moving. I don't believe it will stop because we're up at 40 at one point in the fourth quarter, but the clock is not in your favor. You got to score quick, get quick onside kicks, score quick if you want to have a chance in this one.
Yeah, and the play clock's at 20 here, and the Wildcats do have 3 timeouts.
If they could have kept Community under 35, this would be a little bit of a different feeling here. But as the clock just runs and runs and runs, there's still cause for concern, right? Like, they've just recovered 2 straight outside kicks. They've been marching here, but the clock continues to run.
I think more for Community, this is not so worrisome this week, but maybe next week when Prospect comes to town, and a really, really talented team at that. And West Chicago might be exposing some flaws that the Ironmen have right now of not being able to close out a game in a playoff game or not being able to recover a certain kind of onside kick, something the Knights could use next week to take advantage of the Ironmen.
Yeah, and there are some negatives that you can look at. But there's a positive right there with a huge tackle from Winton Carlock. He stopped Lee right in his tracks. That was a very impressive stop from Carlock.
Looks like
forcing
we got an
that third
injury
down. There is an injury for the Ironmen. and that can't quite pick up the number. You guys have a number?
I was going to say 33, but then he just ran on the field, so it's not
I
33.
think it might be 32, which would be Demarion Gardner.
Okay.
He's been a huge piece of the defensive line. He's a junior and somebody that Dringwitz has talked a lot about this year.
Well, on that onside kick, Max Blumenschein actually was hobbled off, and he's spent some time on the bench a little bit. And so this is also kind of that attrition weather as well. So you want to see the Ironmen get out of here, and you want to see them get out of here healthy.
Yeah.
And this is the weather where sometimes things sting a little bit more than tomorrow. You're a little bruised and a little bumped, but no harm, no foul. But sometimes you can't really assess, but he's been down there for a little bit of time. One of the things that has been really exciting in this game is just getting to see kind of the tempo of West Chicago. I think this is probably the fastest game, like actual game speed that we've seen all season. And so thinking about the challenges Community might face going forward is this is a good test here. This is a little bit of an adversity, and that's not something outside of the game against the Kankakee K's we've actually seen Community tested with. So getting to that spot where they're pushed against the wall a little bit, and you want to see how they respond. That's really essential to have a deep run, is to have these kind of moments. One of the benefits that the Ironmen do have is there's no school Monday for parent-teacher conferences, and so there's a little bit of like mental rest that some of these athletes are going to get. No school Tuesday with election day, and so that's something that really could be a benefit mentally for some of these athletes.
I think also physically, right? Those 2 days off of no stress, no school, don't have to get up in the morning, can kind of sit back, wait until practice starts at 4 o'clock, relax myself, let my body heal, then get ready to take on Prospect next Friday night.
Yeah, we have a 4th and 1 here for the Wildcats. The clock has just gone under 6 minutes to go. We still have some fans in the student section, and West Chicago fans are still present as well, and the game is starting to heat up here with a big 4th and 1. We've seen West Chicago pretty successful running the ball. Let's see if they go right up the middle here, and they do with the quarterback run. He kept it, but the ball's loose, and that's definitely going to be a stop, if not a fumble. And it looks to be a stop for the Ironmen, and the Ironmen will get the ball back with 5 minutes left to go. 41-16. That's the stop they needed right there. Great job by the defense.
And correct me if I'm wrong, right? In the playoffs, this is a ball sent from the IHSA, right? That this is a brand new ball. That this is, like, so this isn't the ball. This is maybe this is the weather. Maybe these are the hands. This is really surprising. And I read the fumbles on the stat sheet, but I was like, no, that like sometimes the stat sheet lies and. Your eyes don't lie tonight, though. That this is a really kind of surprising stat to see here.
And it's fumbles from a quarterback that has done a really good job for Chicago taking care of the football this year. Obviously, the 14 fumbles, but the more you touch it on the ground, the more you're going to
we got a break. Kretzinger is all the way through. He's all the way at the 33-yard line. He burst right through there for a 37-yard gain. Kretzinger seemed to get that 37 yards in 5 seconds, maybe even less. That was a quick burst.
Almost like Kalen Taylor likes that speed that time by Cole. Nice run by Cole, able to open up the offense that time, getting across the 50 for a first down for Normal Community.
Tommy Davis. Last year, Tommy Davis was the starting running back for the Ironmen. He had 20 total touchdowns, and then Kalen Taylor was the backup with 5. This year, it's kind of that same kind of story. As Kalen is obviously the running back one with 26 total touchdowns, but Kretzinger's had nearly 400 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own as well. His Community gets a first down there with a flag on the play. So Kretzinger's seeing a lot of what year, as he will be a senior next year and be getting a lot of time.
Well, Kretzinger's a different style of back, too. And so one of the things that next season is no Kyle Beatty, and you have a different style of back. Kretzinger has speed, right? He's got different gears, but he's a bigger, burlier back who can run you down. And so I'm interested to see kind of like what that offensive game plan would look like. I'm not interested in thinking about it yet, though, right? Like I want to watch this for as long as I possibly can, but it's also to know that the future is bright.
future is bright for community sports as well. And, you know, last year you have that semifinal finish, like such a great finish. And then this year, once again, you're 7th in 7A. You are one of, like, a team with a target on your back, a very important team, someone that everybody has marked on their schedule, and you're dominating in the first round. So again, it's just another great community team, and we've talked about that, 27 straight playoff appearances.
Even when you talk to the players from Kankakee, I saw an interview before our game versus them, and they said, what is one game that you feel like you can make a statement game in? And it was the normal community game, because it was a team they don't play very often, and a team that's been highly regarded as a really good football program on the state of Illinois, and they beat us. And, well, that includes teams like Cary Grove they play. They play East St. Louis every once in a while. So they don't play any slouch of a roster, but it was normal community for them this year. And that is a testament to normal community's moxie and their football program as a whole.
Kankakee is a team that I would love to see get that IHSA exception and join our conference for football only. I think that would be amazing. Geographically, I think that they are close enough to establish a rivalry. I think they have the history of the program where they're kind of looking for some of those games too sometimes. But I would love to see them, and I'd love to see them match up against Bloomington. I'd love to see them match up against West. It's kind of a challenge in the Big 12 because there's so much diversity and not a lot of parity in terms of talent. And I think it's really a challenge to the Big 12 teams in the postseason when you haven't really played the caliber of teams that you're going to want to be facing off again in the second or third round. There's some behemoths in 7A. The road ahead is frightening.
There is no Downers Grove North in the Big 12 Conference, that's for sure.
That was a big tackle there from number 11. That was number 11, Diego Contreras, on the stop there. And, you know, we talk about these big games, and Kankakee, obviously the Ironmen fell against Kankakee, but that is a game that is huge on the schedule. Last year, when the Ironmen met against Downers Grove North, they hadn't played anybody that's been quite like them. And the thing about that is once they came into that matchup, they were completely, I mean, obviously you prepare as much as you can, but without having a game like that, you are unprepared. And that's what led to that 42-0 win. But a game against a team of a caliber as Kankakee is going to be huge in this postseason.
I know Coach Stringowitz and our coaching staff here at Community really tries to have a non-conference schedule as we can. I know we've played St. Charles North in the past. We played SHG, defending two-time state champion last year. We played Kankakee this year. We're going to play, I believe it's St. Rita next year, somebody along those lines in the Chicago area who's a really good football program. So the more and more you can play really good teams outside of conference, the more it prepares you for those second and third round or even first round games of playoffs.
It also helps you coach, right? Like that feeling that adversity or going up against that toughness, like it helps athletes really buy into like, oh crap, we do have to do the work in the weight room. Like, and sometimes it's also about like seeing the facilities a little bit. Like you could play up that like, because we don't have this, we have to do this better, right?
I can tell you, whenever we set foot at Downers last year, it's like, is this a high school or a manufacturing plant? Because this place is huge. I mean, it was a gigantic high school, and Downers has certainly built themselves a powerhouse of football program, but it's good for us downstate kids to see schools like that because we want to be in the state championship game where Downers was last year, this year. So, if you know where you want to go, you know how to get there, you got to work hard to get there.
I think one of the challenges, too, is the state title game is played at Hancock Stadium.
Yeah, it's right down the street.
And so that taste is always kind of in your mouth, right? Like, how great would it be to be the hometown team, right? I can hear it from my house.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, right, I can hear when the Redbirds are in the end zone, you can hear the cannon go off, right? Like, that's something really exciting, and I'd love to get to see it firsthand.
Well, you saw last year when our basketball team was in the Super Section Redbird Arena, I mean, we filled almost the entire lower bowl with Ironman fans, and that is a big lower bowl. Could you imagine what it would be for football if we had Hancock Stadium? We could probably fill the whole side with Ironman fans and Friendly or whatever.
Well, we just saw the first step towards making those dreams come true, but there are a couple more sleeps before we could actually keep that dream alive. What are your thoughts tonight, gentlemen?
Well, you want to start, Tyler?
Yeah, I thought it was overall well-played game by Normal Community. It started out with a bang with Kaylin Taylor. I thought it was a balanced attack tonight. You know, Marquand Gary had a couple touchdowns. Kaylin Taylor had a couple touchdowns. AJ Montoya had a touchdown. But I was really impressed by the versatility of our defense tonight. They really kind of struggled. The first couple drives were a little rough. Really stomped, put the foot on the ground, and said, we're got a running clock, a couple more scores right back in the ball game, right? And I think they just got to keep the foot on the gas at all times, foot to throat, pedal on the gas. Yeah, same thing. Whatever.
I like a good. The English teacher in me loves a good mixed metaphor.
I'll give up on it. But anyways, so you gotta stay focused, right? This cannot be a 3-quarter football game. Gotta play 4 quarters of solid football to be the Prospect Knights next week.
Yeah, you really do. That's going to be an excellent game that we are very excited for. Just kind of looking back at Community's success in the postseason. In 1996, Community qualified.
Zach, you weren't even.
I could still talk about it.
How old were you? You were -10.
I was like -11, actually.
Right, like I was 11 then, right? Like that. Like, do you know how old 1996
well,
is?
that's what's crazy, because that's when the streak of playoffs started for Community, is in 1996, and since then it has been 27 straight qualifications for the Ironmen, and we saw in 2018-19 it was a first-round exit, then a second-round exit in 1920. A second-round exit in 21-22, second round again in 22-23, and then last year they kind of broke that curse and they were able to make it to the semifinal. Next week we have the second round against Prospect, a very good football team, as we've talked about. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Community fares against that. But in these 27 years, we've had tied for third. When you have that semifinal finish, there's not a third-place game, so really a tied for third-place finish.
Oh, let's give us third place.
Yeah, let's give us third place. And then also first place and second place in those 27 years. So Community has been very successful in all phases of the game, as they have been this year. But this second-round matchup is a must-watch game. It's going to be huge.
One of the things that's really exciting is this is the second season in a row where we're going to play back-to-back home games. Yeah. And I think historically that's been pretty rare for the Ironmen, where a lot of times round 2 we've been on the road, and a lot of times round 2 is where the season has ended. And I would like to see Community continue to make these deep runs. And I think there's something to be said about Drankwitz's love for the routine, to love to play on Friday night. And I think part of that is, like, you're comfortable doing what you always do, right? He loves that schedule. When we play in-town opponents, he talks about getting taped here and doing the routine here, and then making the little trip. And so I think that's definitely a benefit that maybe you don't think about, but for the Ironmen it is.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, you know, if I look back at last year, the most exciting game last year was second round playoffs here at home. We were broadcasting it against Bradley Bourbonnais. It went to overtime. There was a point where Bradley Bourbonnais, it was a tie ball game going into overtime, and they returned the kick. And it looked like the game was over. Our voices kind of dropped, shoulders sag, and then a flag's thrown on the play. And Community ends up getting a touchdown. Bradley Bourbonnais comes back. They get a touchdown, and they're down by 1 and decide to go for that 2-point conversion that Community ends up denying. And that was the ball game. And that's the kind of action that second-round playoffs can bring. So I am ecstatic for the second round.
Yeah, Friday night should be what they say in the business as absolute cinema for high school football. I mean, could not ask for a more qualified matchup between two now 8-2 teams, and two teams that have been battle-tested both last year and this year. Should have set up for a great matchup on Friday night.
Yep, and we had some cinema here tonight. The Ironmen have improved to 9-1 on the season. They take down the West Chicago Wildcats with a final score of 41-16 here at Dick Tharp Field. For Brad Bovenkirk and Tyler Swanson, I'm Zachary Knox Doyle saying so long from Dick Tharp Field.
And let's not forget Bella Green, Iria Blackman, Malachi McCool, and Lenore Rivas. Woo-hoo. Oh, Joel Swanson would be disappointed.
Yes,
always sends a shout out to the entire crew.
Oh,
Zach,
my goodness.
ended on a terrible note.
I messed it up. Oh, man.
More to work on next week and more time to do it.
Love you guys.